But let me speak to Christian Tachie Djan, or your finance expert. Now, your thoughts into so. Jimmy, so Christian, it's good to have you this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me this morning.
Now, important to say. I could come reaction to a finance minister and no statement or about.
Yeah, I think since Ghana decided they were going to the IMF for a program somewhere in July, and there were a lot of speculations. Normally, countries that have got very high debts and are unable to actually service or more facilities to the international market in terms of bonds, yeah, once IMF is coming in with some extra funds, what that means is your revenue that remains constant, what time the debts will be by the home. Into how are you going to finance the old ones plus even new one now? So normally, there is the need to go for some sort of debt restructuring. What has popularly been known in our Ghanaian airways as haircuts, now it was expedient there and the basel. Right after the debt sustainability analysis by the IMF, now we knew that definitely there had been certain discussions between government and the IMF. And honestly, during the presentation of budget by the finance minister, he also gave a hint of what was likely to happen. Just the following day, the IMF also on their portal, they also confirmed Ghana's intention to have a haircut of a sort by 2023 before we'll be able to assess the program. Anyone and I say how the thematic areas were going to play out modular or more because over the years, other countries that have gone for this kind of debt restructuring, will be our will be age bracket, which make age bracket say okay, so or more 50 years be individuals, or 50 years our near pension. And Sika our born on we let it be free, we are not going to touch it. These who are high institution, or when you say threshold, ABR with $1 million Ghana cedis plus and on that haircut, ever come. So there are a lot of needles, there are a lot of ways and means countries go about some of these haircuts. So we're actually in limbo, we weren't sure how the government was going to do it, how it was going to play out at the end of the day. So there was speculation, there was panic within the investor community. But I think because of the heightened speculation that was going on in the airwaves, people were just bundling untruth. People were just coming up with anything behind just do it to the Ghanaian public. So it was expedient, the finance minister, before the start of a new week, will actually put out a statement so that some calms will be restored into the financial landscape. 2017, now you go through some serious house cleaning exercise as far as the finance landscape is concerned. Some banks were closed down, others were merged with existing ones any other day. It was important say your financial landscape remaining very solid. I think the investor community should be happy with it. They've not come out with the external creditors how these things are going to play out, but at least we know say domestic creditors or more or treasury bills, because there were a lot of speculation. People were even thinking say even those with fixed deposits in the banks were also going to be affected. Treasury bills were going to be affected. Bonds. We were not really sure what was going to happen. It is that statement, and I think it has put to rest a lot of some of these speculations. Now, I think this is one of the best deals that the investor community is going to get. In a nutshell, treasury bill of any tenor, of any amount, whether an individual or institution, the haircut is not going to affect you. That is one. And secondly, those with bonds, whether individual or institution, the principals are not going to be taxed. And then individual bondholders, So who born now individual, you will not be affected by those haircuts. That is payment of interest now, Mastaga, that is from December 2022 up to 2025, meaning they will not be affected. Even so, that 10-year margin, no, no, the way individual, not bond, cry now, yeah, you will not be affected. And your principal, whether institution or an individual, will also not be affected. And most importantly, treasury bill of any sort, because I maintain some other stations that called me before these announcements. I was telling them I'm yet to see a short-term investment that has been rolled into a haircut arrangement. It's never happened before. So truthfully, I mean that's what they've actually confirmed. Do a treasury bill of any form, of any tenor, of any amount, whether an individual or an institution, it is not going to be affected. And for me, I think it's a good thing that the government has actually come out with.
Now, the impact on these institutions, and I'm say you do come up briefly. A firm where issue bond, or hope you so at the end of the day, no, will be a certain amount within a certain period, and I say a certain window. Now, from 2023, will be 0. 2024, will be 5%. How is that likely to impact the market?
Okay, so of course, domestic market, let me say, a literacy level in some of these things, you know, will form kakra. Definitely, people will not really understand. I mean, from where I'm coming from, a lot of people even think that once an institution be or it need to be mano na or kwa for jail within time for a bank. There are a lot of differences between some of these financial institutions. Banks, or credit unions, or microfinance, or savings and loans, or investment companies, fund managers, so the differences between room. So once I answer and say that basic classification of class, definitely some of these things, will not really understand. Into domestic, affecting. But I think it's up to every citizen, any person who really understands how some of these things play out, especially the personal bankers of these institutions, whether investor bank, investment company, there's some proper education, and media, and also Mabua, actually, the scientists, ama amount for now, but definitely there will be some effect. On the international front, also, yes. Ghana has enjoyed a very big solidarity for a very long time. I mean, if Luti bonds, they got oversubscribed because people really believe in us. For now, IMF is going to give us a bit of policy credibility with time. Once an arrangement is reached, these investors will be having their money that and when they fall due. But consequently, it will advise some of these investors, at a later time, how they should come or approach the Ghanaian market anytime we float bonds, because this is the very first time it is happening within our state, our financial landscape, And so definitely, I mean, it's going to have an impact. But for now, IMF, that's why around it there, I don't think it's really going to be that serious. But after we are done with the completion of the program, subsequent bonds are ever banner, and
Christian, it's good to have had you on a pay media. So
thanks for having me. Was
Christian Tachie Djan, any financial analyst, thoughts kakra.